Hello, Liam Ward here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. Today I'm going to tell you all about half-valved harmonicas. This is a really cool variation of a standard harmonica. It adds lots of great expressivity and bending ability to the instrument, and I'm going to show you the basics of how to use it, how to bend on it, and also give you some tabs to get you started. If you enjoy this video, please click like. That means that YouTube will know to share it with more people who might enjoy it as well. So what's a half-valved harmonica? Well, you might be familiar with the fact that a standard Richter-tuned harmonica gives you some great bending abilities in the lower draw notes and the higher blow notes. But there are some limits to what we can bend. So holes 1 to 6 blow won't really give you anything other than a slight little micro bend, and 7 to 10 draw won't give you any bends other than really the tiniest little micro bend. And this is because of the note layout of the instrument, but also because of the way that the reeds interact. So half-valved harmonicas, like this one here, this is a Seidel PT Gazelle method harmonica, really nice half-valved harmonica. I'll leave a link in the description to it. What they do is they add valves to half of the reeds. So 20 reeds in the instrument, 10 of those will have valves in their chambers. And what this does in terms of the playability of the instrument is it suddenly makes those notes that wouldn't normally be bendable, it makes them bendable. So if I take a normal special 20 harmonica, no valves at all, and I play the 6 blow, this is an A harp because I'm using an A one of these. If I try and bend it, it won't bend. I actually end up playing the overblow there. It just doesn't want to do it. Whereas, because this is half-valved, if I play the 6 blow on this, suddenly I can bend that note. Now that gives me two things. It gives me expressive bending in and out of that note, that doigt that you can't usually get, and it gives me a new melodic note. Because it will bend down a semitone, a half step, I can then start using that note which wouldn't normally be available on that hole. Now, this is the crux of what half-valved harps are doing for you. I am not a great half-valve player. I've just bought one of these and given it a go, working out what's possible. In this video, I'm going to go through in more detail what bends it can give you and how they'll help you and how to achieve those bends. And I'm going to link to some tabs as well, so check the description for a free summary of this video, including some tabs to get you started. But just to say, I'm not an expert on this specific type of harmonica, so I'm not great at this. If you want to hear someone really good, check out PT Gazelle. I'll put a link in the description to his channel, some of his videos, because he is great at these. He plays these a lot, and he really makes them sing in a way that I can't. I just want to give you an intro. So what we can do with this instrument is we can bend 1 to 6 blow and 7 to 10 draw. So they're the holes that were not previously bendable. And that means that every hole on the instrument will bend to a greater or lesser degree. So let's stick with that 6 blow for now. Any diagrams that you'll see on the screen will show you a C harp, but I'm actually using, as I said, an A harp. That's just because I prefer the range of notes available on an A. The lower and higher notes I prefer, but the same theory applies. I'm just using a diagram of a C to make things easier. So in order to bend the note, we can use our normal bending technique. We'll need to refine it a little bit, but that's our starting point. So I've found that with these new kind of valve bends, if you want to call them that, I can use my bending technique, but I have to use a little bit extra pressure, and I also have to be a bit more subtle with the change of shape. So air pressure, no, I'm not blowing any harder, but I'm using a bit more force, if you like, and at the same time I'm a bit more subtle with the change of shape. So on that 6th blow, if I imagine it as a normal blow bend, I'll probably find that I won't get it to go. I'll need to use that little bit more pressure. See, it's not really going. So what I'm doing is I'm just pushing that air a little bit more. This is what I find. But crucially, I'm not going, ooh. It's a bit kind of subtler than that. And I could do that on holes 1 to 6 blow and 7 to 10 draw. But bear in mind, just as with your normal bends, that each hole will feel different. You've got to get used to them. And to be honest, I've been struggling with the 7 draw. So I've been practicing the full chromatic scale in the middle of the instrument. And when you get up to that 7 draw, you need to bend that 7 draw. And I'm finding controlling that is difficult. The lower one's a bit more easy. So I'm still getting used to from one hole to the next. So don't expect them all to feel exactly the same. So what's actually happening in the instrument? Well, these valves are a way of blocking off the air in certain situations. So we've got valves added to holes 1 to 6 draw reed chambers. So that's the draw reeds on the holes 1 to 6. But that means that when we blow on 1 to 6, the valve closes in those draw chambers. And that means that that draw reed is inoperable. It will not interact with our blow note. So a normal bend uses both reeds at once. It's that interaction of both that creates the bend. With these new valve bends, because it's closing off that opposite reed, it means that we can't get that double reed bend, that interaction of the two. But what it means instead is we can manipulate that single reed to bend on its own. It's a different type of bend, it's got a different type of tone to it, but it's still a way of changing the pitch of that note, and that can be really useful for us. So there are reeds on 1 to 6 draw, which you might just be able to see in the hole here. Don't know if you can see, it's kind of like a black plastic or polymer material in holes 1 to 6 down on the bottom. That's the draw ones. And then also you'll see 7 to 10 below. They've got valves on them as well. So the equivalent, the same thing is happening up there. On holes 7 to 10 below, we've got valves. So when we play the draw reeds, those 7 to 10 below reeds are no longer accessible for us, and we can then bend the draw notes as a single reed bend. Now, if you put valves on all of the blow and all of the draw notes, that would stop you being able to do those double reed bends, the normal bends that you're used to. So that would be restrictive. But because we've kept them off certain holes, we've got this lovely combination of, I can still bend all 1 to 6 and 7 to 10, 1 to 6 draw, 7 to 10 blow. We've just got these extra bends. And what that means is that the full range of the instrument can be played from holes 1 to 10 chromatically. You can play the full chromatic scale. You've got all the missing notes, all the sharps and flats, without having to overbend. No overblowing, no overdrawing. You can use your normal bending technique and knowledge and apply it, and you can use the instrument chromatically. And that's what PT Gazelle is good at. Also Brendan Power, I'll put some links to his videos because he's awesome at this. So in order to get used to these bends, I'd recommend you go through a step-by-step process. So the first one is applying that general technique that I've talked about. So taking your bending method and trying to be a little bit more forceful. I don't want to say forceful really, a little bit more pressure with the air, but subtler with the change of shape. And you want to try and bend down and up. So I'll go on that 6 again. And you can try, various holds. Not very good on those lower ones. Every hole is different, and you want to listen to what you're playing. You want to listen to the sound you're getting and try and adapt as you go, because I can't hear you playing it. You're going to have to be your own ears. You're going to have to be your own feedback loop to check what you're doing. So first step, bend down and then up again. The next step is to bend down and try and hold once you've gone as far as that bend will go. So you're, like you would when you're learning to do your normal bends, you're trying to get the muscle memory of where that bend is, how much you need to change the shape, etc., etc. The next step I'd recommend is to play the straight note, the unbent note, and then play that bend that we're trying to get that muscle memory for, and then back up again, without sort of bending down and up. So you're trying to hit straight, bend, straight, like that. So I'm not very good at that. That was a little bit better. The next step I would recommend is to hit the bend first and then the unbent note. Again, try this on different holes on the instrument. And then finally, we want to start practicing moving between holes. So a really good way to do this is to play the full chromatic scale in the middle of the instrument. So we'd start on our 4 blow and work our way up to 7 blow. But instead of just playing we're going to add in the extra bends, the valve bends, as well as the draw bends we need to get a full chromatic scale. So the tab would be 4 blow, 4 draw bend, 4 draw, 5 blow bend, so that's our new one that we've learned, 5 blow, 5 draw, 6 blow bend, again a new one, 6 blow, 6 draw bend, 6 draw, 7 draw bend, that's a new one. Haven't talked about the new draw bends, but the same idea applies. And then 7 draw, 7 blow. And that's our full chromatic scale. Okay, so you want to take it nice and slow, slower than that. I really struggled with that 7 draw one. I'm just not getting that. That's really poor, to be honest. But I'm just trying to give you the basics. You're going to get better at this than me. I'm just working it out and trying to pass it on. So what this bending is doing for you is giving you 7 more melodic notes on the instrument and also giving you expressive bending on the full range. So by finding the extra missing notes in the bends instead of having to overblow, and actually making overblows impossible on the instrument physically, it means that we're simplifying the processes, if you like. It takes a bit of getting used to. You've got to get used to this new type of single reed bend, but it's meaning that the full chromatic scale is more accessible. And then the expressive abilities are great as well. So if you think on a normal harp, if you play Amazing Grace down the bottom end, if you wanted to move that up an octave, you can't bend, there's a 6 blow and a 7 draw, you can't bend those notes on a normal harp. But on a half-valved harp, you could bend that 6 blow, get a bend into it or a kind of a vibrato, which you couldn't do on this, and the 7 draw. I'm not playing it very well, but you can do it. Again, bend in and out of it and work on your vibrato on it. So suddenly the kind of expressive bends are more widely available as well. So you don't get this awkward thing of certain parts of the harmonica being less expressive. If you listen to Brendan Power, he has a very distinctive sound in this regard, because you hear the power, if you excuse the pun, of the full range of the instrument. So what you'll find is that 1 to 6 blow and 7 to 10 draw are brighter, more responsive than they are on a normal harmonica without the valves. And the full range of the instrument is kind of brighter, crisper. It's not as airy, that kind of wispy airiness that you get with a normal harp. Now, that isn't a good or a bad thing. That's down to you to try it out and see whether you like it, whether it's for you. If you'd like some tabs to try out, I've given you 2 different versions of Happy Birthday to You and also a version of The Girl from Ipanema. Then check out the link in the description to a full summary of this video, including those tabs. They're a great way of practicing using these new notes melodically. But you can also start to put the notes in as expressive bends into anything you're already playing. I hope that this has helped a little bit in understanding what's happening with a half-valved instrument. As I say, I'm not great on this instrument. I'm just working it out for the first time, to be honest. So if you want to hear some proper stuff, I'll put some links to PC Gazelle and to Brendan Power in the description, as well as a link to this specific type of half-valved harmonica. Please click like if you've enjoyed this video. That helps YouTube to know to share it with more people who might enjoy it. And also subscribe to my channel if you'd like free harmonica lessons every single week. I'll be back with a new lesson soon. Until then, enjoy your practice. Cheers.